Hello students, this is class 8 geography, chapter number 1, an introduction to resources part 2. Now in the previous part we have covered some of the topics of this chapter, like we have learned about resources, definition of resources, the classification of resources as natural, man-made and human. We have learned about the natural resources, its classification based on origin, development, renewability and distribution. All these topics we have already covered in the previous part. Now in this video we are going to do the rest of the classification of resources, that is man-made and human resources. Now let's begin. Topics of this video are human-made resources, human resources, and sustainable development of resources. So first let us discuss about the human-made resources. These resources are created by human beings from the materials available in the environment such as tools, buildings, bridges and other infrastructures are all examples of human-made resources. Natural resources become resources when their original form has been changed. Iron ore was not a resource until people learned to extract iron from it. People modify the natural resources as per their needs. And even technology is also a human-made resource. Here are some pictures of the human-made resources which are being used by the humans and they are made by the humans. Like money. Money is made up of paper and paper we get it from the plants or bamboo plant. Even you see the next picture, vehicle, that is a motorbike which is also used by the human beings and made by the human beings, but it is made out of iron and we get this iron from the iron ore which is a natural resource. All these things whatever you see in this picture are all the examples of human made resources. Yes, here is the topic, that is human resource. So before knowing about human resource, let us know about the difference between the human made resource and human resource. In the previous slide, we have learned about human made resource where we find that humans utilize the natural resources present in the nature to which they use for different purposes such as tools, bridges, roads, etc. Now here human resource means humans are considered to be resources. In which terms? The term human resource can also be defined as the skills, energies, talents, abilities, knowledge, these all which humans they have are regarded as or considered as resource, and that resource is called as human resource. These skills, talents, abilities and knowledge are utilized by humans for the further production of goods or rendering of services. So all the qualities what humans they have and they utilize that quality for the production of goods and rendering services are called as human resource. For example, you can take the example of a teacher, doctor, mechanic, musician, artist. Here all their skills, their abilities, their knowledge, all are considered as a human resource. Human beings are the most important resource of the world. Through their knowledge and skills, they make the best use of the natural resources. They can discover, exploit, develop and convert the available or potential resource into useful products. Therefore, if a country wants to progress, it should first develop its human resources. Here it means the country should develop its education system through which the humans they get knowledge, they improve their skills and they have ability to work that they get through education. So a country should develop the education system so that humans can gather knowledge and skill which they can further use for production of goods. In this way the country can develop. So human resource is the important resource in the world. As we have learned that our environment has lot of resources in it which we humans are utilizing it according to our requirements. But if we are not careful, then even renewable resources can become very scarce and non-renewable resources can be finished. So we need to use the natural resources wisely, and also we should protect and preserve them, which in term which is termed as conserving resource. So conserving resource can also be explained as using natural resources carefully and giving them time to get renewed is called as conservation of resources. Conservation is the act of protecting Earth's natural resources for current and future generation. Conservation means preserving or protecting natural resources. During early period, the population was low, so humans' needs were limited and they could fulfill all their needs from their surrounding. But now, as the population is increased, the needs are unlimited, which already caused damage to many valuable resources. We need to protect and preserve our resources or conserve resources. To conserve the resources, we should keep in mind the three R's. These three R's are R for reduce, R for reuse, and R for recycle. Here, reduce means each person should reduce their consumption. You should, for example, you should take that much of food in your plate which you can consume. Wasting the food doesn't mean wastage of food, but it also means wasting the resources, damaging the resources which were utilized for making the food. So we should consume that much quantity which we can consume or utilize. Second is R for reuse. We should try to reuse the things. Reuse bags and boxes. Don't waste their value so that we can conserve the resources for the future use. R for recycle. What it means? Recycling paper, cans, bottles, transforming waste into resources. Like for example, but bottles, plastic bottles can be recycled, and further ropes can be made from the plastic bottles and it can be used for other purposes. So reduce, recycle and reuse should be the three basic concepts to conserve resources. Due to misuse and overuse of resources, to satisfy human greed, the quality of air, water, and land has deteriorated. Here are impacts of overuse of resources, such as infertility of soil, land pollution, scarcity of water, and harmful increase in harmful gases due to cutting down of trees. So these are the impact of overuse of resources. Also, due to this impact, certain species of birds, plants, and animals have become extinct. This has created a situation in which non-renewable resources like petroleum and coal could be unavailable after some time. Thus, a balance between population growth and the utilization of the resources is the need of the hour. Now, this is the last topic of this chapter, sustainable development. Sustainable development means that takes place without damaging the environment. When we use natural resources wisely for today's need and also conserve them for our future generation, it is called as sustainable development. It is the management of renewable resources for the good of the entire human and natural community. Here, development means development that takes place without damaging the environment. That is called as sustainable development of resources. There are various ways by which we can conserve our energy, like using bicycles in place of power-driven vehicles. Working as a volunteer to save the environment, we should conserve water for our future use. We should plant trees because trees gives us oxygen. We should educate ourselves because that increases our knowledge. We can develop our skills by which we can conserve the resources in a better way, use the resources in a better way. We should practice the system of reduce, reuse and recycle. We should shop wisely. We should not use plastic. Next, we should not use chemicals. These are the various ways to conserve our resources for our future use. Here are some questions related to the topics discussed in the video. To evaluate yourself, you need to answer these questions. But before answering, do watch the video properly and then answer. Hope you like the video. Thank you.